Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Robinson was a family man with a wife and 3 children. He was a kind of responsible man wrongfully convicted to his death. The act of perjury by Robert Ewell put Tom Robinson in the situation that caused his death. The evidence shown by Mr. Ewell's actions both on the stand and at his home, as well as the simple facts of physical features, should lead the jury to convict him of the voluntary manslaughter of Tom Robinson. Voluntary manslaughter is the act of killing someone after being provoked. Mr. Ewell was provoked in many ways, the first of which being the mere thought of his daughter liking a black man. As Mr. Robinson was aiding Mayella with some housework, something her father would not do, she pulled him onto her without his consent, and, fearing the consequences of a misunderstanding, Mr. Robinson attempted to run away. However, Mr. Ewell just happened to see Mr. Robinson with Mayella and created the very misunderstanding that he had feared. Although Mr. Robinson had made it out, it was Mayella that received the punishment. Mr. Ewell, enraged by his drunken lifestyle, beat his own daughter on the possible thought that she liked a black man. He attempted to argue that it was Mr. Robinson who beat Mayella. However, the doctors showed that she was beaten by a person who leads with their left, and Mr. Robinson has no access to his. However, Mr. Ewell is left-handed, and for some odd reason did not call a doctor as soon as he saw his daughter beaten like that. Now with the rage of both Mr. Robinson's presence as well as a crime to cover up, he had to find someone to blame. Mr. Robinson, a loving, helpful man who had the nerve to aid a child in need, seemed to be the perfect person. First of all, Mr. Ewell knows how anti-black the town is, almost guaranteeing his case won before it even started. Second of all, Mr. Robinson passes by the Ewell's home almost every day, making it no odd occurrence that he was in the home. Finally, Mr. Ewell saw Mr. Robinson in contact with his daughter, all coming together to make an almost unbeatable case. Mr. Ewell knew this, and knew that he had to get rid of Mr. Robinson one way or another. He was also very aware that, in the state of Alabama, the crime of rape was punishable by death. So, Mr. Ewell quickly put together a case and charged Mr. Robinson with the crime of raping his daughter, knowing he would either be put to death or kept in prison until they had the chance to do so. However, in order to do this, Mr. Ewell had to lie on the stand. He was willing to commit an act of perjury simply to cover up other crimes of domestic violence and neglect. He lied about what happened to Mayella with Mr. Robinson, he lied about who beat her, and he lied about his own actions. Now that these lies have been acknowledged, not only does Mr. Ewell's case fall apart, it shows that Mr. Robinson should not have been convicted and sent off to his final hours. My opposition may say that Mr. Robinson attempted to escape from prison, and on that attempt was shot and killed, and therefore was his own actions that led to his death. However, we have proven here today that Mr. Robinson was an innocent man and should not have been convicted, and should not have been in that situation in the first place, and would not have had to escape. Therefore, it is not Mr. Tom Robinson, a husband and father of 3, who should have been sent to prison. It is Mr. Ewell, upon committing the crime of perjury, as well as now the voluntary manslaughter of Mr. Robinson. With the provocation from his own and his daughter's irreversible mistakes, he indirectly killed an innocent man who should be walking the streets of our town today. Thank you.